DuckTales fans, old and new, the time has sadly finally come to say goodbye to DuckTales 2017 reboot. But guys, this uh, hour and 8 minute finale truly was something to behold. So 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 it starts out with Uncle Scrooge and the rest of the family disguising their plans to uh, finally find Val's secret headquarters, which they finally found the exact location of. That thanks to Launchpad uh, uh, t- t- telling them the coordinates in his sleep, with a British accent, no less. Um, that 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 they decide to disguise the foul raid as celebrating Webby's birthday. And, and guys, I do have to say, Webby is actually playing a very keen role in this finale um, because right after uh, Uncle Scrooge and Miss Beakley basically say, once we have the cake, there's no turning back. And cake, I guess, is the code word that was meant to say that the storming of Bow's headquarters has officially begun. Um, anyway, one, 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 once everybody gets inside Val's headquarters, which by the way just happens um to um to 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 remind Dewey of his favorite level from the Double O Duck video game. Which is a reference to the classic '87 DuckTales episode of the same name. Um, uh, Webby and the kids finally find these two clones of Webby rather, May and June, who who at first seemed to be these sweet carbon copies of Webby almost, and they start out all nice and sweet, and and they're welcomed into McDuck Manor. Oh, I guess I should say, but before all this happens, uh, the, 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 Donald's secret plan to basically leave Duckburg and finally take Daisy out on the houseboat where it's just the two of them, really does make Dell angry because Dell was like, we I just got back and I feel like we didn't have enough time to have adventures, just like we did back in the day, but before I got sent up to space. Anyway, May and June basically end up being clones of Webby, like I said, and they were actually created by Black Aaron, and sent to retrieve the sword of Swan Centine, the blessed bat pipes, and basically all the lost treasures and mysteries of Isabella Vengeford, director Bradford Buzzard, and and uh, Webby at first can't accept that May and June are evil, and Violet and Violet Gosling and Lena are basically able to pick up on that immediately, and this is actually all thanks to Miss Beakley, who says the the real story behind Webby and the clones is classified information. Um, but but what ends up happening, guys, is what May and June are desperate to find out who 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 they are and why they were made. So 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 they actually try and take Webby back to the Foul headquarters and to the lost Library of Alexandria, and and basically, guys, we basically find out that not only are May and June clones, but Webby the clone all in herself, and and um and and she was actually cloned from no one other than Uncle Scrooge, and yes, guys, and what he finds this out by by the real reason the director Buzzard cre- created May, June, and Webby for now named Project April is because he is actually the grandson of of Isabella Finch, and and uh, and Bradford absolutely hated the idea of having anything to do with adventuring. So um, he 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 decided that he had to come up with a way to basically stop Uncle Scrooge from being able to adventure ever. So uh, Br- Bradford tricks Huey into giving him his junior woodchuck guidebook because Director Bradford actually was the original junior woodchuck, except he was terrible at it. But Uncle Scrooge, Bradford, I mean, needed the last page of the guidebook, and, and Webby, because she's a true heir of Scrooge, that was rescued from 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 her own suspension tank, but but by Miss Beakley on her final mission as a spy to take down Fowl's headquarters for good. And Bradford has been working on this project since 1987, no less. And and yeah, basically, guys. But and Bradford actually almost succeeds in sealing Scrooge and Need for Adventure because the papyrus of bonding contract that director Buzzard makes up states that Scrooge can uh, uh, actually go home with everybody because director Buzzard doesn't just actually want to force Scrooge from adventuring. He wants to erase anyone and anything having to do with adventuring. Because once again, as he stated, that's just pure chaos, and he's perfected a more advanced version of 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 the ramrod that this time doesn't just transport you to 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 another dimension. It takes you out, period. And basically, guys, after taking control of Manny, the headless horseman, who 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 finally breaks himself free of that control and turns back into the head, headless horseman of the apocalypse, to the Gargoyles theme song, and no less. It's with that Louie and Dewey and the rest of the gang say that the papyrus of binding does have one flaw, despite Bradford having the sword of Swanstein and thinking he's finally trapped Scrooge and forced him to end adventuring for good. But 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 the kids say that family is the greatest adventure of all, and thus that and thus that 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 destroys the papyrus of binding, and with a little help from a freed of their own mind control, with the help of magic of the spell one last time, she 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 turns director Buzzard back into just into a regular old bird before they disappear, and and it's not before saying that says that Uncle Scrooge tells Director Buzzard, I didn't stop you, but my family did, and that proves that nothing can stop this family. Even if this is our last ever adventure together, this family has been and will continue to be my greatest adventure, period. Oh, and throughout this entire episode as well, Darkwing Duck still can't figure out that Gizmo Duck is actually Flinton, and throughout the episode as well, Dr. Gearloose comes to the fact that he may be losing his touch. And, 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 and they find Professor Von Drake, who 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 basically should be dead. Yeah, guys, that's basically the finale in its entirety. So again, thank you, DuckTales 2017. I'm gonna miss you, but thanks for one last very thrilling adventure.